Good evening, friends. Welcome back to the next part of this keynote session. Today, we are going to have four keynote speakers, eminent speakers from India and abroad. And we are very delighted to have with us Madam Ms. Sunita Sanghi, who is a senior advisor of the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship of Government of India. Trimadi P. Ramana Saraswati IAS, the Joint Director of E-Governance and Joint CEO of Tamil Nadu E-Governance Agency, Government of Tamil Nadu. And we have Dr. Christian Hurst, the Head Political and Economic Sections of the Australian High Commission from New Delhi. And we will have Mr. H.E. Mohammed Maliki, the Ambassador of Majesty, the King of Morocco to the Republic of India. So we are going to have four of them to this evening session to get in different perspectives on different topics relevant to GTF 2020. So as a first speaker, let me call upon Madam Ms. Sunita Sanghi, who needs no introduction to the academic and research fraternity in India. She's a senior IES officer from the 1984 batch and currently working as senior advisor in MSDE, the Government of India. She had worked with Niti Aayog, the national planning body of Government of India, before her tenure in MSDE, and she has played a very, very important role in the Skill India program of Government of India. She had worked in various sectors, including agriculture, finance, capital markets, education, skill development, labor, employment, etc. So we are very, very proud and privileged to have Madam Sunita Sanghi to address the gathering, and I request her to deliver the keynote address.
It's indeed my pleasure to be here and participate in this very important event. I thank ICT Academy for inviting me to this event and being a part of this virtual conference, Global Technology Forum 2020, which has been supported by MITI, AICTE, NSDC, and Niti Aayog. We all know that we are in the midst of Industry 4.0, which is driven by factors of new means of communication and rapid application of digital technologies in all economic spheres. This has really challenged the traditional business model and ways of working. Correspondingly, a lot of job roles are disappearing, or maybe there are change in the way they are to be performed, where there is scope of automation or where machines can enhance the efficiencies. A number of macro studies points towards categories of job roles which are getting eliminated or disappearing due to automation and machine learning. At the same time, new job roles related to data analytics, machine learning, artificial intelligence, they are coming up. This ongoing trend is expected to continue in the foreseeable future. This reminds me of the time when the computers were coming and it was felt that the onset of coming of the computer will take away a large number of jobs. But we all are witness to the fact that while computers have taken away some jobs, but at the same time, if you look at the net, there is an increase in the jobs because associated with the computer technology, a large number of new job roles have actually come into being. So is the case, the way the technology is changing. Now, policymakers across the globe and in India, they have been formulating and implementing measures to not only make their labor market resilient to this technological change, but also developing strategy which could help them benefit from this transformation. The stakes are high as far as India is concerned. As we all know, we are experiencing a demographic advantage. There is a continuous challenge to channelize the energy of our youth towards higher productivity and growth in our nation building. Now, one of the interventions over the years has been the establishment of ICT Academy to help prepare teachers and students for the requirements of the new digital economy. I'm very glad to note that the Academy has grown over the years and has expanded the scope of its work to include technology partners, academic institutes, promotion of entrepreneurship, and research activities. There is immense potential, however, for the academy to emerge as an anchor entity to enable the growth of India's ICT ecosystem from a skills perspective. Now, coming to the immediate issues which are at hand, COVID-19 has really enhanced the pace of digitization of businesses, new ways of working, including work from home, digital payments, and automation of several processes. All this means huge opportunities and business for technology companies. Several commentators have in fact proclaimed that the digital transformation in all economic spheres has been accelerated by a decade in the pandemic period, which essentially means that the pandemic has acted as a multiplier, it has a force multiplier to the changing technology. Now, this can lead to a fresh impetus to the ICT industry of India, and we have to be fully prepared from an HR perspective to really leverage the benefits to business, to economy, both local and national, through higher productivity and efficiency. The appetite for innovative technologies and cost rationalization is higher today than they were any time in the past, driven by shorter shelf life of products, preserved profitability, and enhanced expectations from the consumer. Now, the question that really comes to the mind is how well the government, both at the central level and at the state level, are aiming to skill and reskill and upskill those who are in the labor market or those who are going to join the labor market. There comes the role of many of the skill initiatives that have been undertaken by the Ministry of Skill Development, and I think ICT Academy has already been recognized as the best practice. Its practices have been recognized as best practices by the NITI Aayog in 2 of its work. Now, from the MSD perspective, there are 3 distinct streams of addressing the demand for the ICT skills. In the short-term ecosystem, the Ministry of Skill Development, through its institution, National Skill Development Corporation, has entered into partnership with leading technology companies, Cisco, Microsoft, Adobe, to IBM, to enable introduction of skill sets in latest technologies in the form of co-branded certifications. Also, there are focus on fee-based skilling, which is largely on the new age skills and IR 4.0. Now, the IT and ITA Sector Skill Council, which is one of the sector skill council out of 37 sector skill councils, incubated by the National Skill Development Corporation, along with NASSCOM, Future Skills Initiative, has come up with job roles which are relevant for the digital economy and delivering them at a scale to a large section of aspirants. In fact, IT-ITA Sector Skill Council is looking for job roles which are at the higher end, which meets the requirement of a fully automated enterprises. Now, this is targeted at creating the required skilled manpower for the gig economy and data-centric operations. We all know that there has been a push to the gig economy, which was already showing its footprints, but this pandemic has fast-tracked the emergence of the gig economy. The second important fact is that the long-term training ecosystem has introduced courses for new age skills, including IoT technicians in areas of healthcare, agriculture, and smart cities. Now, these are the 3 sectors which have been identified by large number of people, by large number of those who are policymakers, to be providing large employment opportunities. Now, geoinformatics assistants, besides the traditional roles in computer hardware and testing, are also emerging as a job roles for which there is going to be a huge demand. Third and most relevant in the future scenario is the skill ecosystem has to increasingly gear towards addressing the requirement for higher levels of skills as the new job roles require higher, much more proficiency in latest technologies. If we look at the National Quality Register, which is being maintained by the Ministry of Skill Development regulator, we realize that largely the job roles are at a competency level, which is at a basic competency. But this technological revolution that is coming for today is necessitating that we think beyond those levels. I mean, think for the level 5, 7, 8, 9, so that we are able to train people in a higher competency to meet the requirement, not only of the domestic economy, but the international economy also. International mobility is very, very important. And we all know that India has been pioneer in exporting the IT-related services. With more and more people skilled in higher end job roles, and with more and more countries looking towards India because of its young population and their economy being aging, I think India has a huge opportunity to export large number of highly trained, highly skilled people in the IT and the digital economy. Now, MSD is open to any suggestions to enable sustainability and economic viability of higher level of skilling through existing or new programs. And I think ICT Academy can play a very, very important role. It is only through higher level of skilling that technical requirements in digital technologies, data analytics, 3D modeling, automated assembly lines, IoT, etc. can be met. On the behavioral front, I feel personally that a lot more effort is required to build capacity for innovation, emotional intelligence, and the ability to adapt to different cultures. Now, since ICT industry is serving the global market, and today we are a very connected economy, as I said that India is pioneer in exporting also, and the global ICT industry is exposed to foreign collaborations as well. Global benchmarking of courses and content needs to be undertaken right at the sector skill council level so that our skilled workers are not at disadvantage in technical, functional, or behavioral skills. In fact, you will be happy to note that Ministry of Skill Development has been partnering with large number of countries, both in Europe, America, Japan, and Oceania countries, even in the Gulf countries, to ensure that our qualifications are benchmarked to their standard also, so that our people are able to actually be more mobile and able to get the right kind of opportunities. MSD will be very, very happy to facilitate engagement with the preferred countries or geographies. I mean, we are open to any suggestions for undertaking the training program which meets the requirement both of the domestic as also the international economy. I personally feel that the process like design thinking, micro-skilling, they have to be implemented in the institution itself in a student-centric approach. There is also an opportunity in increasing the scale and reach of ICT training due to the shift from classroom to the experiential learning. You'll be happy to know that our new education policy is focusing on introducing the concept of skilling, which includes all kinds of capacity building, including the digital capacity building, right from class 6 level, wherein a student from a class 6 will have an experiential learning, and student from class 9 onwards will actually have a hands-on training. Now, there was, in the higher education ecosystem, though we had developed the BVOC, Bachelor in Vocational Education courses, but in the regular undergrad course, there was no opportunity to introduce the courses which student may like to do, maybe ITS related courses they may like to do. But now we have introduced what we call a degree apprenticeship. Now, anybody who is pursuing an undergrad course of any subject, be it an art, be it a science subject, be it a commerce subject, can undertake a training program, either in the apprenticeship mode, or he can also go in for a 6-month or a short-term training course inner choice of his sector, which includes the IT sector as well. So it's a big opportunity that the government is also and trying to encash through its various initiatives, so that our student who will in any case enter the labor market, before they enter the labor market, they're exposed to these kind of technological training as well. Finally, I feel that we need to institutionalize lifelong learning and adaptability through regular reskilling to meet changes in the market or business model. It's known fact, reskilling and upskilling is very, very important for the future workforce. Let me just give you an example. When in late 80s, the computers have come. It was thought that the computers are going to replace the human jobs and human jobs are going to be reduced. No. At one point of time, maybe certain jobs which were only done by the humans, by hand, they were replaced by the jobs which were done by the computer. But at the same time, the introduction of computer had also seen large number of new job roles coming into being. So the net result has been more employment and not less employment because of this. So this is what, even if we have AI, even if we have machine learning, we are foreseeing that new kind of job roles will definitely emerge, requiring reskilling and upskilling to meet the changes in the market or business model. The ICT technologies are subject to rapid changes, and reskilling and upskilling is a continuous need to keep pace with the changing technological requirement. In fact, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, in his address, has already, on the World Youth Skill Day, has laid emphasis on reskilling and upskilling. And he has been saying this for a large number of years, that we need to reskill and upskill our youth to be able to meet the challenges which are emerging from the rapidly changing technology. Because the way the technology is changing, it is very, very necessary that we reskill and upskill. So he has envisioned long ago that we need to reskill and upskill our manpower, our workforce, so that we are able to meet the challenge. And I personally feel that in this pandemic time, the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister of promoting the digital economy has really come very, very handy. People have started using the digital money. They have started using the digital applications, which has really reduced to a greater extent the exposure to the paper money. And this paper money could have been one of the reasons to explode the pandemic. But the introduction of focus on digital money has really reduced to a great extent the pandemic impact. So India has been a leader in services, trade, and ICT industry, has the potential and responsibility to sustain and build upon the advantages through comprehensive and dynamic skill strategy. Today's workshop, and this 5-day workshop, is going to see eminent industrial leaders, educators, research scholars, and students attending from different parts of the globe. With international conferences on AI, IoT, and edge computing, besides keynote and tutorial sessions from industrial experts, I hope it's going to be a massive exchange of information, which is very, very crucial, especially at this time, which will help us in realizing, in true sense, the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister also, who has been seeing that India continue to move and there is no livelihood which is lost, and we are able to have the sustainability in the economy. I wish all the success to this global conference, and I request to the organizers to please do share with the Ministry of Skill Development also the major recommendations which are emanating from the industry leaders, from the educators and the research scholars' deliberations in this very important conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sunita Sanghi, for your valuable insights that you delivered. I'm sure definitely it will help all the researchers and academic fraternity to get an understanding of the of our nation's policies and how we can give more importance towards skill development and things like that. Thank you very much for being with us this evening, and we were very, very proud to have you as part of GTF 2020, madam. Thank you very much.